There's somebody's not identified. Somebody's named community member, not identified.
Thank you.
No, it's okay, Syria. Thank you. We renamed them. They actually identified themselves.
They were called iPhone before.
Thanks.
Great, so let's get started. Let me put this on the side. Okay, so good evening, everyone. My name is Victor Saldana. I am the Chair of Public Safety and Quality of Life. This is Bronx Community Board 7, Public Safety and Quality of Life Committee. The committee agenda is as follows. We'll go over the meeting guidelines, we'll do attendance, we'll do follow-ups from previous meetings, and then we'll talk about new business within our Public and Safety Quality Committee. We'll ask NYPD, FDNY, OEMS, District Attorney's Office, see if they have any items they would like to present, and we'll get started. So let me start right here. On April 20th, 2023, Major Adams issued Executive Order 387, extending the state of emergency through May 20, 2023. Accordingly, boards are able to continue to act under the state of emergency section of the video conferencing law, Chapter 56, Part WW. This allows the board to continue remotely. Minutes and videos recordings will remain available on our website. If you're calling into the meeting on the conference, controls will adjourn from landline or cell by calling the dial-up number. To hear all available commands, enter ** on your phone, *6 to mute or unmute yourself, *9 to virtually raise your hand. How we will run these meetings is as follows. Code of conduct for meetings, penalties and actions. Bronx Community Board 7 has the right to remove and ask a member of the public to leave a meeting or block participation of anyone who engages in inappropriate conduct, including but not limited to obscene or offensive images or languages, personal attacks, threats, or any other behavior that reasonably impedes the orderly administration of the meeting. Repeated offenses will be reviewed by the board's executive committee or any other assigned committee for a ban of the participant. The amount of time to be objectively determined by the above committees in the event of repeated disruptive behavior. If a person outbursts or attacks continue, this will be considered disturbing the peace and the authority should be summoned. Everyone besides the speaker presenter will stay muted throughout the meeting. After each presentation is over, I will inquire if committee members have questions. Committee members will signify that they have questions by pressing the raise hand button on your screen or request to speak through the chat or when the chair opens the floor. Members of the public who have joined through the online link will be able to ask questions and make a brief statement on the item after each presentation and after the committee has had an opportunity to clarify questions or by pressing the raise hand button on your screen or request to speak through the chat or when the chair opens the floor. Only those recognized by the chair of the committee will be allowed to speak during the allotted time. We will stay on topic with the agenda items. Any other items will be acknowledged by the chair in new business or addressed at the next meeting granted there is time and the committee agrees on the topic. Following the questions, discussions, and public comment portion, the committee will begin their discussions after each presentation agenda item and will conclude with the decision to vote on a recommendation. When the agenda is finished, the meeting will be adjourned. If there are any questions related to this meeting software or to our process, please use the chat function or raise your hand function now to contact the district manager. Okay, great. So I don't see any questions. We're going to go quickly over attendance. Give me here 1 second. We'll go over attendance. Victor Saldana present. Samantha Suvasits.
Samantha Suvasits present.
Great. Mirna Calderon. Okay. Manjor Chaudhry is excused. Laura Green. Okay. Maharani Sivajan.
Maharani Sibajan is present.
So Carla, I know there's 6 of us in the committee and half of us are here. Do we have forum to continue?
You need one more. I mean, you can continue with the meeting. You just can't vote on any items.
Okay. So hopefully we have another person. We don't meet the forum to make any votes, but we can continue with the meeting. So as I spoke with the agenda, we're continuing for NYPD. I do see, I think 50-second pre-sale online. So I do want to open up to the NYPD, see if we can give out a report for our community. I'm not sure who wants to speak.
Hi, Victor. That's me, Officer Acosta.
Go ahead, Officer Costa.
Hello, everyone. I'm Officer Acosta, the Crime Prevention Officer, 5'2", for those who don't know me. So real quick, I'm just going to go over the crime stats that have been going on for the last 28-day period. We've seen a little bit of a spike in crime for the past couple of weeks. Rapes have been up just by 1. Robberies are up 6.1 by 2 from last year. We've seen felony assaults. A lot of the felony assaults have been, they're up by 3 due to like a lot of the domestic incidents that have been going on. Small spike in burglaries. We're up by 3 from last year. Grand larcenies and grand larceny of the autos is one thing, our biggest concern right now. They have gone down, but our numbers are still up. From last year, grand larcenies were up by 9, and grand larceny of the autos were still up by 13. A lot of the grand larcenies, we've been seeing a little bit more identity theft and scams going on online. Some of these guys are getting a little creative on Facebook, trying to lure people in. Seeing, the buyer's market stuff, getting you to send some sort of money and you're not getting anything in return. Another reason, and this is a real big one, is items being left in autos. I can't tell you how many times I've been reading these reports that people are just leaving tons of stuff in their autos, thinking they're secure, and they're not. If the bad guys get a hold of things that are in your car, iPads, wallets, and things like that, if they get 1 debit card, 2 debit cards, it brings us to a grand larceny. So I've been out in the community as much as I could to just try to let everybody know, keep them aware of that. Grand larceny autos. I'm not sure if anybody's heard. There's been a whole big citywide, I think it's a countrywide thing with the Kias and the Hyundai. We've been very, our crime prevention division, the whole department has been just trying to get everybody aware of what's going on with the Kias and the Hyundais, that TikTok challenge, where they're stealing these cars using the USB ports that are on your used to charge your phone. There's certain models where if you rip out the ignition, the turnkey ignition, they're able to start the car very easily with that. There were countermeasures to that. We had an Apple AirTag giveaway. It wasn't in our precinct, it was in the 43rd precinct. We were trying to reach out to as many people to see who they were interested, if they qualified for it. So if anybody knows anybody who's interested, what I do is I see if you qualify. You got to be an owner of a Hyundai or a Kia, a registered owner in New York. And then, I'll be able to just take a name down and submit it to the Crime Prevention Division to see if they'll have one available for maybe another giveaway they'll have in the future for those AirTags. Also with the GLAs, Honda's a little bit popular. Seen some GLAs with a lot of the Honda CRVs. There are little programs we have here. We have the CAP program, the VIN etching I could do for people. If anybody wants, any information on any of that combat auto theft stuff, I'll leave my information in the chat, and then you just give me a call, and then we could set something up to do something. Other than that, just a few patterns that have been going on. We've had an incident with maybe 1 5-2 precinct with the city banks. I'm not sure if anybody's heard about the credit card swaps that people are doing. We have people of interest. I think it's multiple people doing it. We have one person that's doing it in the Bronx and like another crew doing it in Brooklyn, Queens. Basically what they're doing is they're targeting the elderly at the banks. They're going up to them while they're going to the ATM. They're swiping their card out of their hand, The victim goes, "Can you give me back my card?" They do give them back a card that looks pretty much identical to what they have, and it not being the credit card that's theirs. So what they do is takes them a good second to get away. The person thinks that they got their card back, and it ends up being used later or money taken out. We had an instance where the person was actually watching the victim put the PIN number and everything in, so they're able to actually get into your account. So be aware of your surroundings. We're in these bank ATMs. There's a lot of, theft going on around there, or attempted theft. Just look behind you, see who's just staring. Obviously, anybody standing in a bank just looking at anybody in an ATM, just be very careful. Other than that, like I said, if anybody has any questions, especially with the TikTok challenge, GLAs, just let me know. I can leave my information. You can call me privately on that, and I'll explain you exactly how it works.
Thank you, Officer Costa. Just a few questions regarding the VIN etching. Is that being done at the 52nd precinct, or do you sign up and then it's an appointment? How does that work?
Yeah, so you give me a call. We'll set up an appointment. I'm the one that personally does it. So whenever day is available, we can get it done on your car. Right now I can do it now. Sometimes I do run out of resources and I got to go get more. But if anybody's interested, just, I'll leave my information in the chat. Email me, call me, set up a date, tell me you're interested. You can just come by the precinct and I'll do it for you. It's good to do it now because it's warmer weather.
Okay.
So it's a lot easier to do than in the winter. So yeah, just give me a call and I'll touch base.
Great. And then my follow-up question is that I think the community have asked, we've seen some things in the news regarding I don't know what the terms are, but like Title 42 or something coming to end. So we might see an increase of refugees in the city. What is NYPD prepared to do? Can people walk to the precinct and ask for help? How should we be able to, if we see people asking for help and they're coming to here, do we just guide them to NYPD? Will NYPD be able to help with resources? Is there any plan for that?
We haven't gotten nothing yet on that. I would have to wait to see when they send down something on like our interim orders and exactly what we would do in that type of situation. But right now, nothing has been really said to us or being told. So, but like I said, if you do see anything, you're obviously, whatever the department's going to do, they're going to probably announce it on news and it'll be kind of like a big thing. But they haven't really told us anything just yet. Yeah.
And then the last one, well, actually two more. As we prepare for the summer months, do we have any plans of what NYPD will be doing for the warm weather? As we know, that's the season when we see the most public quality of life issues come up. Do we have some sort of new force task or anything that's going to help sort of deter these quality of life issues such as noise throughout the summer?
I know for sure what they're going to be doing is they're deploying a lot of officers daily. I'm not sure if you heard of Operation All Out. They're going to kind of increase that a little bit. What that means is that they're going to have officers from all over pretty much muster at a certain point and then go to different parts of the city, wherever it's necessary. You're talking officers from, all over precincts, administrative units as well are going to be going out there. Even myself, they'll be giving me a date to say, listen, you're going to have to go out there and deploy for a day or two. So you will see more cops out there in the summer. It's definitely a summer all-out program. We pretty much do it every summer. So that's something they're going to be doing. There's always the officers deployed, on the trains as well, on straight, overtime, whatever they can do, they get officers to just give as much coverage as they can. So that's something that the city's going to be probably increasing throughout the summer.
Great. Thank you, Officer Costa. So I'm going to ask if there's any members from the committee that has any questions.
I just want to one thing, Victor. I'm sorry to cut you off. I totally forgot to mention this. We just had I think we have 11 new officers now assigned to the 52nd precinct. So that's more resources we're going to have out in the street. They're in field training right now. So that's, a plus sign, and the pictures up on Twitter, see them out there, we just say hello. They're happy to be here. And then, Yeah, so they're, going to be doing their training, and I believe in 6 months they're going to be going out into patrol squads. So, which is good for us.
Oh, that's awesome. Welcome. Feel free to invite them if they want to introduce themselves at the next meeting in June. We're happy to invite them. That way they can meet the public. Okay, so I'm going to open it to committee members. I'm going to check quickly, see if there's any hands raised from our committee members. I guess there's none, so I'm going to open up to members of the public and other community members for our community board 7. So I'll start off first with Chad. If you can go ahead and ask your question.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for sharing that information. I have a question and a comment. So my question regarding the air tags that you have, the program that you have for the Hyundai vehicles, has there been consideration for rolling something out where we can provide air tags for some of our seniors who are auto users?
Yeah, anybody who's interested, they can shoot me an email. What it is that the way it works is downtown usually has them, and they look to see who we may have precinct wide. Like, let's say I have 10 people that have called me throughout the month, and they'll ask me, like, listen, do you have anybody's interested in an air tag? And I'll have the information. There's just some qualifications they need to have. They need to be fall into the criteria of either a Hyundai or a Kia. The models have to be between 2011 to 2021. They do have to be registered in New York. The person that has the vehicle has to be the registered owner. So it can't be like in a different name. The registered owner himself has to come. It probably gonna have to be a date where you actually come to the precinct and meet with me real quick so I could just verify. And then once everything is, said and done, I kind of keep it on a list. And then when this happens again, where usually it comes in spurts where downtown is going to be like, listen, we have 500 to 1,000 air tags. We're going to be doing them in the 4-0 precinct because that's where they've been doing a lot of grand larceny autos. They do reach out to us to see if we have anybody who can go over there. That way, when they go, it's kind of almost reserved for them if the supervisors okay it. They may look at it and just say, like, they may run it themselves and say, oh, that's not the owner or not the name or something like that. But I'll do a lot of workup. There's no guarantee. I just will have, them on my list when they do call me. And I'll say, look, I have 10, 20, 30 names. Here they are.
Well, I only bring that up because you mentioned the distinction that you have them earmarked for certain models. I was just wondering if it's possible to broaden the scope of vehicle. But thank you for sharing that. But I also want to share. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, right now they're just doing it for the Kias and the Hondas. They haven't brought in it yet, only because they're not getting that many. They're only getting a certain amount. They want to get them to as many Kia and Hyundai owners as possible.
Okay.
To announce it though, when you do see it, sometimes I try to retweet it on our page. You can go. You don't have to actually call me. You can go and see if you can actually go get one. Then we'll set up like a whole thing where it's at, and it's to be announced wherever they do it.
Okay. Thank you. And the other comment, I just want to make an observation. I was by PS 86 today, by 195th Street, and for several minutes, I've seen cars race up and down 195th Street while there are cars and school buses in the lane waiting on the lights, and motorcycle riders, scooter riders speeding up and down, doing pop-up wheelies in the middle of the street, and racing on the sidewalk, even as early as 8:30 in the morning. And I can only imagine how more frequent it's going to be now that the weather is warmer and school is about to end. So I'm wondering if we can have some kind of presence there, because it's getting to the point where an accident is going to happen and I don't want fingers to be blamed, So that's by 195th between Reservoir Avenue and Jerome by PS 86.
Yeah, I'll definitely bring that up. That's actually been brought up in the past to my commander at the council meetings, and he was, very adamant about that area. I'll also bring it up to the traffic units. See, do you know, is this during school? Like you said, it's from 8 a.m. to, all hours?
Well, I was there this morning and this afternoon. So in the morning, I saw a motorcycle rider on the sidewalk. And in the afternoon, after I want to say I got there at 3:50, 3:45. So from 3:45 to about 4:25, I was there and I noticed it. The racing motorcycles on the street and the cars. This one was probably doing 60 miles an hour in the wrong direction just to race and hire his muffler. So not only was it racing, but it was making that obnoxious sound with the engine.
I'll definitely bring it up to, like I said, my commander and the traffic units. You know, he was very, very adamant about that area. You know, I believe he has family members too that go to that school. So it is something that we will definitely be on top of. I can guarantee that. So.
Yeah, I appreciate that because my daughter goes there and, you know, it's.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because that's a lot of kids are coming in and out of school there and the buses and. Yeah, so I'll definitely note it and then I'll have a follow up like at the next meeting and I'll let you know what happens with that.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
Yeah. So I guess we have another hand here, Mr. Garino, if you want to go ahead and unmute yourself.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Welcome. As you can tell by the weather today, we're gonna have a long, noisy, hot summer coming. Yes, real noisy. My question is more of like if the committee can do it. He mentioned people at the ATM machines at the bank. The Ridgewood Bank has their 8 machines outside, ATM machines outside, excuse me. But there's a bench there where perpetrators can sit and watch the action at their leisure. And I was wondering, is there any way that we can get that bench moved down the block away from the ATM machines for the safety of our senior citizens? So I wanted to bring that to the attention of the board and the NYPD. And thank you.
What were you talking about? Which location?
Ridgewood Bank on 204th and Whole Avenue.
All right, yeah, I'll go take a look at it when I get out there. I'll see what's going on there.
And the security guard stays inside to watch everything. He's not outside.
Thank you, Mr. Garino. Carla, I just want to pick your brain on this. Do park benches fall under the Parks Committee, under traffic, like if they're on the side?
Yes, it's Department of Transportation.
So, Mr. Garino, we can start a conversation with the Committee of Transportation. We can submit it to them and hopefully it can be discussed at the next meeting in June. If that is a concern from citizens as to helping to deter possible crime across that bank.
Thank you.
Great. So I do want to remind everyone we are coming to summer months, and one of the big things is data. So if you see things, please put 301 tickets. If you're putting 301 tickets and they're not being answered properly, or you feel that things are not handled properly, write down your ticket numbers, bring it to our committee, and we'll escalate. So we need data. When our city agencies see this data, they will go to hot spots and they'll monitor, they'll try to fix it because they also work against data that they're put against. So again, we know the summer months are coming, so please submit those 311 tickets as much as you can. So I don't think we have any more hands raised. So I do want to thank Officer Costa and the 52nd Precinct for all your help and always joining our meetings. And, thank you for all the great work you guys do. I know it's very stressful, and we'll keep you posted on any things that come up. Oh, I do see, we have an announcement as well. 50
Yeah,
seconds.
I just had I just had a couple of things I forgot to say as well. Just a few things coming up. Community council meeting is going to be on May 25th at 243 204th Street. That's right off of Mashuda Parkway North over there, the Sister Annunciata Bethel Center. Tomorrow, Friday, they're going to be doing in Orchard Beach a catalytic converter etching. If you go on the 4-5 precinct Twitter page, you're gonna see a little. I can actually, if you want, I can try to upload the picture real quick of the flyer. It's gonna be from 10 to 2. I remember last time there was a lot of people, and it just kind of like they had to turn away some vehicles because they weren't expecting that big of a turnout. But just be mindful. I don't know if they got more resources this time to do it, so it's something to do, to help prevent the catalytic converter theft. And I believe next month, it's to be determined the date we're going to be doing an open house in the 52nd precinct. So I'll give you more information about that as we go. So thank you.
I'm sorry, Smither. Thank you, Officer Costa. Great. I guess I just want to open, see if we have any representative from FDNY on the line this evening. Nope, okay. So open it up to, do we have any representative from the district attorney's office?
Hi, good evening, everyone. This is Carlos M. Torres. I'm the crime prevention coordinator at the Bronx District Attorney's Office. Just want to say hello and let everyone know on this call that on Saturday, May 20th, our office will be hosting a youth summit, which is going to be led by the youth for the youth. The overall goal is to provide them with some information and skills so they can become civically engaged and help create solutions to the problems that we're facing today in our society. That event is going to be held at Manali Community Center, Saturday, May 20th from 1 to 4 p.m. What I'll do is, if you haven't received the flyer already, I'll make sure to send a flyer out. And also on Saturday, in June is Gun Violence Awareness Month. On Saturday, June 3rd, our office is going to be hosting a gun violence awareness event. Once I have further details with that, I will definitely let everyone know. And I just wanted to say thank you to the brave women and men who served the 52nd precinct. Stay safe. If anybody has any questions, I will remain on the call. Sorry for joining a little late. Daddy duties.
Carlos, is DA having any plans this summer? I think last year they had like back opening schools for basketball youth after schools during the summer months. Is that happening also this coming summer?
That's a great question. What I'll do is I'll follow up with our community affairs unit. They're mostly they're the ones who usually would know information in regards to any like after school events. What I do know from my experience working at the office and collaborating with other organizations is that we do participate in Saturday night lights, but that's only on Saturdays. But I'll definitely follow up with our community affairs unit, and I would send you an email to update you.
Great, thanks so much, Carlos.
You're welcome.
Yes, so I just open it to the team, see if there's any questions for the Bronx DA. I don't see any questions. So again, thank you, Carlos. We're going to continue here. Next one is, do we have any representative from OEMS on the line? Okay, no representative. Do we have any other city agency that would like to speak that's on the line?
Hi there. Thank you so much, Victor, again. It's Nikai Cruz, Bronx Outreach Coordinator for CCRB. I just wanted to give a quick update. We're still waiting on the our budgetary initiatives to fulfill 42 positions at the agency. So we're still waiting on that from the city. But in addition, the office is indeed open and available to receive complaints. We're conducting our workshops and interviews virtually and in person. And thank you all, and I wish you all a wonderful evening.
Thank you, Nakai. So I think we are pretty much set where our city agencies. I do want to open up to community board members, see if there's any questions, any concerns, anything that they would like that we have discussion. I do see Halo. How's it going?
Sorry, I just want to say, sorry I'm late, and that's all. Thank you.
Thanks, Lo. Yep, I'll write it down. No worries on the attendance. Great. So I do not see any other questions or concerns from the members. I do want to open up to the public while we have a few minutes here, see if there's any questions or concerns or anything that the community would like this public safety pilot to follow up and make sure we get an update. So we'll start again with Chad. Go ahead. Chad, are you there?
Oh, sorry, I'm talking to myself. Yeah, sorry if I sound like a broken record, but I want to bring the fact of our parks. We don't have a lot of PEP officers, and the presence of law enforcement is drastically needed for the summer months. I'm wondering if there is a plan to address the littering and the loitering after hours and the noise with the speakers. In fact, I was at DeVoe Park earlier today and someone had their speakers out and it was audible. I just wondering if there's a possibility of any new strategies despite not having enough PEP officers to address the current conditions of our parks.
Thank you, Chad. Senator Officer Acosta, if you're on the line, do we know if the 52nd precinct has any plans to patrol parks in our community or around the park?
Yeah, we do have a condition team that goes out there and will address that. A little bit of a game of cat and mouse that they play with us, because what happens is usually when the officers, they see us, they turn the speaker down, becoming a little difficult for us to take it sometimes, depending on the speaker. Obviously, if it's something, huge on top of a car, it's a little bit different story. But we do have officers assigned to that. So make the 311 complaints, because those do not go unseen or unresponded to. We're going to beef that up a little bit as well. They had sent some emails that, they are checking response times from patrol officers, and just to make sure that they go to these calls that you make for the noise. And if it's, ample enough, they will take the speaker and they will issue summons. We've done it tons of times. We still do it as many as we can. Again, sometimes it just gets a little bit slick because people think we're not doing anything about it. But when the person turns the music down and kind of drives away, the officer has to kind of observe it to actually issue that summons and remove the speaker. So it's a little tough on that, but they will be out there.
So can they remove the speakers on the first site or first observance of the violation?
Yeah, if they make the determination that it's amplified, like it's to the point where the decibels are high enough, they can take it at certain hours. I believe it's definitely after hours. We have conditions teams the thing is, our teams are going out there at like 7 o'clock at night. So if they're doing it a little bit earlier, we might not have the officers in doing it, but definitely they're out there from like 7 at night to like 2 in the morning. That's usually when you'll see like that happening. They've gotten quite a few speakers, from like the Charlie area, they've in the Sector C, the Paul Avenue. They've gotten from DeVoe Park, Massachusetts Parkway. They're a very small crew, but they're out there. I can guarantee that. So,
because I thought that the amplification of the speakers is not allowed unless you have a permit, and it's usually one of the big parks.
Well, the park during hours, you could definitely call just to see if we can make sure they have a permit. Most of them don't. Yeah, we could definitely do it there as well. Like we do that issue. They're still going to be issued the summons regardless if we're able to take the speaker or not. Let's say somebody just has a sound device, was amplifying it in the park. It's not, they just issue them the summons depending on the type of speaker they're playing. We don't confiscate all of them. If it's just like a smaller one, they still get the summons if they're inside the park. So, but you're right in that. Just, put it over, because our patrol officers during the day will respond as well. And our supervisors look to see what the officers are doing for the 301 complaints.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Costa. I'll start with committee members first, Mr. Garina, and then I'll take it to you. Lowell, you have a question?
I just have a comment. When you call 311 with the noise complaints, please be as specific as you can on the locations. Say it's the corner of, you know, X and Z under the street light. Because
Yeah.
a lot of places where they are playing the music does not have a specific street address. And when that happens, 311 will tell you it doesn't exist. And you know it really does. So when you call 311, give as specific information as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Lola. Yes, that is great information. Officer Costa, we're still in line. Regarding the 311 tickets, is that accurate? Do police officers see the address and then they read the comments to go to a specific location? Or are they just looking at the address of the ticket? And if they don't see anything, they just move on?
Yeah, the more details put, the better it is. So when you get a 311 complaint, you're getting the address. So for example, let's say you say 2550 Webb inside of the park. That's not an accurate thing. The officers are going to go to 2550 Webb Avenue, but let's say they're in the playground. That gives them enough time to turn the speakers down, and the officer doesn't know exactly where it's coming from because, you know, with our marked police cars, we're seen from pretty much far away. So she's absolutely right. Anything that you can specify in that 311 complaint, you know, in the playground by the sidewalk, if it's near the steps by the water fountain, you know, anything, it all helps us. If you do put the address just in front of, but they are off, the officers are going to go to that specific location that you have put in front of your building. Some people usually, a lot of problems with it is that a lot of people want to remain anonymous. So what they do is they'll just say, listen, there's music coming from, and I'm using this as an example, 2550 Webb Avenue. There's, you know, a guy in a moped with a speaker. That officer is going to 2550 Webb, but they might just be a little bit off of where the call is from. If it's an anonymous caller, it's very hard for the officer to even address it. So putting your phone number, putting your information, the officer looks it up on his phone. He's going to call you back, say, hey, how are you? Where are you hearing this noise from? So the more details you put in that 311 complaint, the better it is for them to know where to go. You could still remain anonymous. You know, you can, they're not going to find you. They're not going to go, and you can leave a phone number. You don't have to leave a name, and just give them whatever they need to do to find who they are, descriptions, color of the bike, color of the car, whatever it is.
Thank you, Officer Costa. Thank you, Lola. Samantha, you have your hand up.
Hi, I'm here. Good evening, everybody. I just wanted to add to Lowell. Lowell's absolutely correct, and even if you use the 311 app, they're very specific in what, you know, the directions are and stuff like that. So I want to echo what Lowell says. It's the same thing on the 311 app. I do have a community member next to me who would like to share something. I'm not sure if the members are done, the board members are done speaking. If they are, my community member would like to say something as well.
Great, Samantha. Do you mind if I go with Mr. Guarino first and then I come back to you because he's been.
Oh, yes, Stereo was first. Yes. Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay, my good friend Andrew is not here, so I must bring it up. The food truck on Bainbridge Avenue and Gun Hill. It's always there every day. They put in the new lights now in the middle of the block, which stops traffic and also took away parking. But that food truck is in a no standing zone day in, day out. And he's like Teflon. Nothing sticks to him and he's never gone. A second problem I notice happening when I take a trip down to the beautiful Jerome Avenue bid, a lot of times I cannot park my car because the fruit stands are set up in parking lanes with stacks of fruit in front of their stores, but they're in the parking zone. They're in the street itself. And it makes very hard for people to pull over and get out of their car to go purchase anything, because almost every legal fruit store that's paying rent is now taken over the parking area in front of their stores because they think they are a diner that's putting up a outside dinette place. So I was wondering if something could be done about that, because that parking belongs to the public, not to the store owner. He ain't paying rent on it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Guarino. Officer Costa, will you be able to help us out with that food truck on Bainbridge? Or have you heard about complaint from that food truck? Park on a no standing zone? You might be muted.
Yeah, sorry, my screen froze. Yeah, I'll go take a look at that one. That's the first I've heard of that one. Bainbridge and Gun Hill, right?
Yes, near the hospital there. He's always there.
Yeah, I'll go take a ride like I did with the one on Cedric Avenue. I'll see what's going on over there. I'll bring it up to NCOD as well. And Charlie. May I go out with them personally?
Can we do the same for the fruit stands near Jerome Avenue bid?
Yeah, definitely. I'll take a whole big ride over there. And then I'll give you guys an update at the next meeting. But definitely, yeah, well, if it's something we can enforce, we'll definitely see what's going on over there. I'm pretty sure they probably got, their share of, summonses either from sanitation or somebody like the tire people on Jerome Avenue. They've gotten quite, bit of summonses, and they're just kind of working at their own pace to remove stuff. Sometimes that happens as well. People treat it as like, I got the summons and I'm gonna just, do it when I'm ready, or do it, to their liking. So we'll take a look at that though.
Thank you. Samantha, let me go back to you, and then I'll go on to two more members of the public, if you have the person with you.
Yep, she's here. Hi, thank you. What I wanted to ask was, what was the legality in terms of smoking hookah in the street? Because unfortunately, even on 201st and Valentine, which is a pretty quiet block, there was a group gathering, and they were right on the sidewalk, taking up space with a car open and the music going, and smoking hookah in the sidewalk.
What times did you see that?
That was approximately around 8, if I'm not mistaken, 8:53, because I looked at the time. Evening.
Yeah, I mean, if they're smoking the hookah, it's something like, it goes by smoking regular, like a cigarette. But if they are like playing music and blocking the street, that's another thing our conditions teams that, they do address as well. Any violations they can get, but if they're smoking hookah, they're probably drinking. Most of the times they are, they can enforce that. But in terms of the smoking, if they are just in public smoking that, it's not really much. But yeah, if it's I'll note the times. I think that's Sector C. Sector C is going to be having a meeting coming up soon too. I believe in a week or two.
And why I bring this up is because it's a concern, because pretty much that block between Valentine and Grand Concourse has always been pretty quiet. And to see now, these groups of people moving over to now go on to, take on the streets just to do this, I don't know. I think I found it to be a concern.
It's a big problem we have, like in the, not warmer. We see a lot of that throughout small streets. Again, like I said, we're gonna have officers going out there. When the summer months come, we have enforcement officers that go out as well, especially like on the weekends that address quality of life. Drinking.
Thank you so much.
Places. So they'll be doing that definitely. You'll see definitely more officers out there.
I recommend that you submit the 301 tickets. I think there's an option there.
Greatly appreciate it.
Well,
make sure to submit that 301 ticket of blocking sidewalks, if that's what they're doing as well. Okay, so I'm going to open it.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Agent Artist, you want to unmute?
Hello. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I just want to say cannabis is also allowed anywhere you can a cigarette. Let's not stigmatize people more than they've already been. Also, I wanted to know with the sound amplification devices, do megaphones for the protests that were in front of the 5-2 count for that, as they were basically in the parkway as well? Or is that just like for people playing music in the summer? Thank you.
So I guess that's for NYPD. Officer Costa, just a quick question for the public. Those sound devices, they're mostly being used for, I'm guessing, music, not for protesting, right?
Well, if it's an organized protest, there's times where they have like a sound permit to do it. That's a whole different form of enforcement. The enforcement we're talking about is, you know, the radios and the amplified speakers and things like that. But in terms of like a megaphone at a protest, that's just something like.
Go to the park.
Yes, so if somebody had a megaphone in Marshall Parkway walking around protesting, that wouldn't be a 301 worthy call. That would just be somebody's right to protest. Am I wrong on that? Or
If it's a megaphone, just not at an organized protest, it's still an amplified device. So it can fall under that depending on the circumstance. But again, if it's some sort of an organized protest, it might be considered differently, especially if they have a permit for it.
all right, thank you so much, sir. Have a good night.
Thank you. So I guess the last person we want to open up is to Malcolm Gray, if you want to unmute yourself.
Hey, thank you so much. I heard something in regards to the bid, our avenues. I didn't hear correctly. Can you repeat that again, please? I think, Serial, did you say it earlier? I think it's regards to vendors or something.
The fruit stands, take over the parking in front of each store. There's about 3 of them.
Okay.
They put the milk crates up and then they stack up the fruit on it and they're in the parking area and people can't park or pull over to go to the other stores.
Okay. So I have been in communication with some of the owners to take care of that. And I know there is a new program that's been launched with sanitation and DCWP to take care of some of the vendors in the area. If you see anything, you can always just email me so I could get in contact with the owners themselves, and see, if we could rectify it, in that way without, having to penalize them.
Okie doke.
Thank you, Malcolm. Are you able to put the email on the chat? And that way.
Yes, I definitely will.
And that way our district manager would share with everyone. With that being said, I know we're here almost at the hours. I don't think we have any more questions. So with that being said, can I get a second to conclude this evening's meeting?
I second the motion, Samantha.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Well, everyone have a good evening. Enjoy the nice weather. And to all the mothers out there, happy Mother's Day this weekend. Hope you guys get to relax.
Happy Mother's Day, everybody. Thank you, Victor.